Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you tonight for this next movie review. For early evening going into evening time for pretty much the imaginary 2024 movie that I got a chance to watch for myself to see what I was going to think of this movie overall. So I'm going to discuss what I watched for this hour and 44 minute movie that I watched for this. Sorry, my voice is still cracking. It's still healing. I don't know. This week has been kind of bleak for me. It's not a terrible week or weekend. It's just I've been dealing with a lot of mental health issues too, alongside of the breathing issues that I had last weekend. But I'm recovering. It's just a slow process. But still, with that being said, let's dive into this movie review. Now, basically, the premise of the movie is about a childhood bear called CB or whatever. And he's basically an imaginary bear from a certain place called the Never Ever. And with this story, it explains about the lady Jessica, Alice, Taylor, and the guy or whatever. The guy that's Jessica is dating or whatever. But honestly, with this story, they're moving into Jessica's old house when she was a kid, and she's revisiting things that she never wanted to revisit again with a childhood bear that the daughter Alice picks up, and it makes her do things and all that and try to hurt herself and all that stuff. It's some fucked up shit, but still, the storyline was not very good. This movie sucked. Honestly, this is quite a disappointing movie. I mean, with what I watched with it, I was very displeased with the one that played Gloria in this film. Like, her performance was so bad. Betty something, I can't remember her name, but all I remember is watching this movie felt like a bore, and it felt disappointing for a movie that it was going for. So Betty Buckley is her name. Yeah, her acting in this was not very good, and the performance she was giving, she was overstepping it in a negative way. That's not a good thing to say. So, with that being said, this movie was a flop, big time. It's probably one of the worst movies I've seen in 2024. Not one of the worst, but it is bad for what it went for. And if I were to give this movie its deserved score, I'd give it a 4.5 out of 10. Fuck this film. I don't know, it's just some of the performances in this were overdoing it a bit, and it's just the storyline didn't seem that interesting, and the jump scares weren't even shit. It's like, okay, so a very predictable horror movie that has very crappy jump scares, like very seldom jump scares where it's like you don't really feel anything for it. It's like, okay, it happened, so let's move on with the story. Like, there was one scene that you may think is gonna scare you to death, but it doesn't. It really doesn't. It takes you by surprise a little, thinking that it's gonna be this evil spirit, but it was such a flop. This movie was such a garbage mess, for sure. And I was hoping I'd like this movie, but fell into disappointment with this movie, so pretty much 4.5 out of 10 for Imaginary. This film was garbage. I don't see myself coming back to this film as the rest of the year plays out for the remainder of 2024. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching this movie review tonight.